You ever wake up one day and stare at the ceiling and realize you have no idea what you actually want? You've done everything right, career, family, stability, yet somehow you feel hollow. I'm Terrence. I spent 8 years as a photographer on The Late Late Show with James Corden, worked with A-list entertainers, and shot for brands like Netflix, YouTube TV, and even Gucci. That's a weird combo, I know. But after the pandemic, and then 2 back-to-back strikes, the work that once defined me was gone. And that's when I realized I didn't actually know who I was or what I wanted anymore. If you're middle-aged or mid-career, have done all the right things, but still feel empty, or if you've lost a role that defined you, this is for you. I built my entire identity around being useful. The good photographer, the reliable dad, the guy who shows up and delivers. And for a long time, that worked. Clients said, "Good job." My family depended on me. People respected the work. But somewhere along the way, the praise stopped landing. Good jobs started to feel empty. Now, when someone says, "Great photo," I don't necessarily feel pride, just relief, and a hope that maybe it'll lead to another job. The work that used to define me started to feel like a means to an end. Research on midlife shows a pattern. People who build their identity around being needed, the provider, the professional, the problem solver, eventually they lose touch with what they want. Ask us, "What do you want?" and we deflect. Whatever works for everyone else, you decide. I'm fine. Because honestly, we don't know anymore. We spent years anticipating what others need, what the client likes, what keeps the family running, and somewhere in there, our own internal compass just stopped working. Then midlife hits. The kids need you less. The career plateaus. Recognition fades. But the responsibilities stay, and you still have to perform, provide, and deliver. So you end up trapped in something that feels both mandatory and meaningless. If your whole life's been about being useful, one day you wake up and realize you've got no idea who you are. And I know what you're thinking. How could you feel resentment when you had a dream job like that? The problem wasn't my job. It was the mechanism I used to survive it. I kept performing the role, smiling, showing up, delivering, while feeling emptier on the inside, waiting for something to change. Then, the pandemic hit, and the show went on hold. I had just quit smoking weed, something I had done daily for decades to numb myself. The withdrawals were brutal. I was forced to actually feel again, and it was painful. But I got help, was diagnosed with anxiety and ADHD. Suddenly, everything made sense. When the show's run finally ended, I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, 2 major union strikes ground the entire industry to a halt. And I felt lost. Not only was the role that defined me gone, but I'd never built a strong sense of self underneath it. What I didn't understand then, but I see now, is that the thing I loved, photography, got colonized by other people's needs. Every photo I shot was as a result of wondering, will talent approve this? Is this what they want? Will this get likes? Never, is this what I'm truly trying to express visually? And this isn't just about photography. It's what happens when your life becomes one long act of people pleasing. I call it role adequate depression. You're functioning fine, doing the job, keeping it together, but inside you're running on empty. You know when someone asks, "What do you want?" and you have no idea. Or when you finish a project that you should be proud of and you feel just relief that it's over. Or worse, you just feel nothing at all. Look, I haven't figured this out, but I'm trying to document it and to hopefully rebuild a sense of self while still keeping my commitments. And here's what I'm learning. Step 1, separate the utility from the identity. Client work pays the bills, that's fine. But every week, I need to try to make something that's just mine. No client, no audience, just curiosity. In photography, personal work is a big deal, and I haven't really had the bandwidth to do personal work in a long time. So I'm gonna get myself back on track with doing that. Step 2, make a better effort at deeper friendships. I've done a pretty bad job at maintaining close, honest, intimate relationships with my friends. Mostly because I don't open up easily. I'm a sensitive introvert, and I'm working on it. But a lot of times life got in the way and just made excuses. It's time to get back. Step 3, learn to actually say what I need. Instead of whatever works, I'm practicing saying, I need time for myself, or I'm feeling depleted. Here's what I actually want. Sometimes it can be awkward, but hey, it's honest. Finally, therapy and reflection. I've got monthly sessions going. I'm doing daily journaling. I'm asking myself regularly, how do I actually feel? What do I need? If you're in your 40s or older and feeling like you've lost yourself in the roles you play, if you're successful on paper but hollow inside, if you can't remember the last time you just did something because you wanted to, you're not being selfish. And you're not alone. When you build your whole identity on being useful, you eventually lose touch with what's true. The good news, you can rebuild. Not by blowing everything up and starting over, but by adding dimension. By reclaiming the parts of yourself that you set aside years ago. Look, I'm figuring this out in real time. Some weeks will be better than others, but I'm sharing this because the hardest part is believing you're the only one who feels this way, and you're not. So, let's figure it out together. If this resonated, please leave a comment, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going.